Welcome to Conversations with Jen and Mel. This show is about real life with real people, having real conversations, from better health to mental health and more. Let's check out the conversation right now with your host, Jen and Mel.
On today's episode of Conversations with Jen and Mel, we are talking about a sexless marriage. So recently, a mutual friend of mine... Why is Melanie rolling her eyes already? Okay. A friend of ours posted on Facebook about a married couple who the husband was seeking divorce because they had not had sex in a number of years. Now, in this post, it alluded that it was the woman's problem because she was refusing to have sex with her husband. In our experience, it's an equal opportunity situation of why husbands and wives are not being sexually active. And so
6 years.
Somebody had not had sex in 6 years. And then the husband was seeking divorce or had sought divorce already. I'm not sure. Whatever the case, a lot of the conversation on the post was blaming the women for not having sex with their husbands. So we want to know, why are you not having sex?
Listen,
Why are you not having sex with your husband? And Melanie and I both know, because of our field, that it is not just women who are not having sex with their husbands. There are also husbands who are not having sex with their wives. And we're going to talk about some of those reasons as well.
so that is a hard place because it's really like, I need to know this woman's story.
Yes.
Because right now, I know people who are not even older people, even younger people, like in their 40s, that, and the women are in their 30s, or that are not having sex. And a lot of it has to do with their mental health.
Okay. Yes. Sometimes it has to do with mental health.
Mm-hmm. Mental health, feelings of inadequacy.
Hormones.
Yep,
I
hormones.
venture to say that in the church, because it's so much celibacy conversations prior to getting married, that the longer it takes for you to actually get married, it's a adjustment that has to take place in your mind about your feelings or thoughts about sex.
Oh, hold on. Wow.
That even though we hear the marriage bed is undefiled, if you have not had sex, you've been abstaining for a long period of time because you're waiting for marriage. When marriage finally comes and he...
Wow.
He is touching
I guess
me.
that could be true. I guess that could be, yeah. And so most of the women that I know that are not having sex or haven't had sex with their husbands, it didn't start off with them saying no.
Okay.
It started off with issues that caused them to say no.
And there's that. There's a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. And so it was the underlying issues. And then, okay, first of all, then they got in the habit of no. And then they realized that, I'm okay without it.
There is that.
They understand.
There's
So
that.
if the marriage is rocky, and for whatever reason, the woman gets turned off by the man, if it's because he's rejecting her. Because I'm finding lately that a lot of times the men their bodies are fluctuating. They're having issues in their own body. And, you saw the post. So they're having issues in their body. They're not articulating. So they're withdrawing. Or wait a minute, or they have other interests. So I've seen it where the man had other interests and the wife was treated like the girlfriend because the man's interest was elsewhere. And so there was just this cycle perpetuated. And so when she realized that, dang, his sex really ain't that good in the first place, I don't have to submit myself to a wet butt in order to be married, then she gets comfortable with that. Like, I've never had any enjoyment, any pleasure out of this. Now I'm content without being bothered with this.
So I think that is a bigger issue than what people either that they realize or that they want to talk about. Because for a lot of women, especially my age and older, sex was a duty. It was not something you did for your pleasure. It was all about his pleasure. And like they did in the Color Purple movie, Mr. just did his business. And so if the encounter between the husband and the wife is just for him to do his business,
he using her to masturbate. Yeah.
No, she not gonna have sex with you. She don't want to. You hot, you heavy. It's too much.
Yes.
It's not comfortable. It's not fun.
Her butt wet.
I'm not.
It's over before she starts.
And normally, that type of husband is not a nice person. I don't think that men who treat their wives like that in the bedroom is probably not nice to her outside of the bedroom.
So I think that we've gotten to a place where men don't understand the art of attentiveness, and men have not become lovers anymore. There was a time where lovemaking was emphasized, where it was the intimacy of the act, and it was, you wanted it to last, and now it's kind of self-motivated. When before men were selfish, they would try to hold out as long as they could in order to satisfy and to enjoy the moment. And now it's like, okay, let me go hard and get done, and understanding that they don't even understand that our bodies are wired the same.
Okay. And to that point, there are still, I don't know where men get this information from about this hard and fast stuff. I don't know if y'all watching porn or who told you that where you was educated that was the way to do it. Now, there may be times when your woman,
all she wanted was a quickie.
When she likes that, there's a time and a place, and there may be some women who do like that, but a lot of men, I think, assume that all women want that hard and fast, knocking your head into a headboard, and they think that is erotic, or I don't know what they think, but that ain't it all the time.
So when you talk about a sexless marriage and talk about a woman abstaining, we need to talk about why is she abstaining? What brought her to that place? Like, why is it that you got 6 years, and so what happened before that, prior to that 6 years? So she's got a whole story that goes untold. Yes. It's a whole story.
Also, I don't know how long this particular couple have been married, but also hormones, a woman's hormones play a big factor into whether she have a sex drive at all.
Listen, I don't mean to be funny, but I'm from the church culture.
Okay, church culture.
I'm from the church culture, but it's my duty to rock this booty.
She gonna make me spit my water out. Lord, have mercy.
Okay. Listen, I'm not supposed to withhold my body from, so.
We are taught that for sure.
Yes. And so, I mean, you don't even need my permission to take it. It's yours. It belongs to you. You gave me your name. We made an exchange, and that's good. But y'all don't act the same. You know, men don't feel the same way. And we were just saying that.
Let's stick with the women, because we probably could do sex. We probably could do 2 parts on it. Part 1, the women. Part 2, the dude.
Okay, all right. So back to the women. So you can't have a horrific relationship, not establish intimacy, mishandle her for how long before she comes to the place where she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna, you don't even know if we're talking about people in the church. We don't even know if she was holding out long enough hoping that he would get divorced because she didn't want to be the one to walk out.
Maybe so.
You know, so we don't know her story. What pain did she endure? What happened that what did she endure that she wouldn't even do her job? Because if she does come from the church, you think about it, she thought it was her duty to rock that booty. You know, okay. But no, seriously, she thought it was her duty and has felt that it was her responsibility to please or satisfy her husband.
So why she ain't doing it?
Why she not doing it? It's a whole story behind that. So when you start talking about he filed for divorce after 6 years, then she probably should have filed years before that. No telling what she endured in order to get to that place. It's the untold story that becomes the problem. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the untold story. What happened behind the scenes? Now, for real, what led up to that? You know? Even the stuff he's repented from that she hasn't forgiven in her heart.
All right.
So.
And has she had past sexual trauma?
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was about to say. What was her past? Where did she come from? You know, what's her story?
Yes. What was her views about sex before they got married?
Mm-hmm.
Then what happened during the marriage?
Mm-hmm.
How is he talking to her? How is he speaking to her?
Yeah.
What is his tone? When he walk in the door, is he barking? Or, is he generous? Or is he being stingy? Does she have to beg for the basic necessities that go along? Like,
is she
do he
carrying
have
the household
control
on her
issues?
back?
Yes. Is he also helping with the kid? Like, it's a lot.
Yeah. Is she, so that sexual trauma is a big deal.
The sexual trauma is
a big deal. It's a big deal when it comes to women and sex. Like, that stuff that goes unaddressed, it begins to manifest later. It goes unhealed and it still shows up. And so you don't know that her having sex wasn't real. So what's her story? Not that she didn't just have sex for 6 years and he filed for divorce. No, we probably need to talk about her story.
Yeah, girl, call us.
I know. Babe, what's your story?
What happened? Though?
First lady, what's your story? What pastor really do? What really happened? What's your untold story you got to write that book about? I'm just saying. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody probably needed to help her heal. More than we're talking about just getting a divorce, she probably needed to heal.
She might have needed to heal. She could have needed a break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it's not as easy as people think being a wife.
No, especially if you're a wife and you had, kids no, it's not. Especially if she got a career, got a whole life, especially he not doing his part. Oh, have mercy.
And for some reason, they always think they doing their part.
They always think they doing their part.
But, yeah, what's some other reasons women don't want to have sex with their husbands?
It's just bad.
The sex is bad.
The sex is just bad. Mm-hmm. Don't want no short man and no 2-minute brother. Sometimes 2 minutes is a long time.
2 minutes can be a long time.
Especially
if it's horrible.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's crazy because sometimes it can feel like torture. Like punishment. Maybe she was tired of being punished.
See, that's another thing. Because especially in the church, I think it's like, you wait, the people who wait until they get married, which I'm not saying that is the way. But when you wait until you get married, and then you, in your mind, you envision that it's gonna be a certain way.
The expectation.
And you think that every time it's gonna be, whoa, when y'all finally get together, and that experience is not that.
And it's utter disappointment.
Especially the first time for a female, married or not married, is normally not a good experience. I don't know anybody whose first experience was a good experience as a female.
Oh gosh, I'm never gonna forget my first time. I'm never gonna forget it. Like, the guys were like, "Oh, why don't you come on over and and come over for a couple minutes?" And I kept trying to figure out, why y'all trying to get me over for a couple of minutes, and in the movies they do it all night. I want to do it all night, Who else says that? Hold on. I want to do it all night. Why y'all talking about a couple of minutes when in the movies, the sun is coming up and they still going at it. They rolling over. They in each other's arms. And oh my gosh.
Yes, it's so romantic.
Yes. And then first time I did it, bro, last 2 minutes, maybe, possibly. And I laughed at him like,
oh no.
He was like, "You want to do it again?" I said, But most of the marriage is like that. Every time their husband get done, they're like,
They can't even get into.
They reach in the drawer. They reach in the drawer and grab a toy. Like, I done bought a toy to do this.
And then, okay, that's another road to go down in a minute. But now imagine that it is your first time and you're disappointed because you thought it was going to be this romantic thing and it was not.
And you married.
And now you're confused and he want to do it again.
He did.
Why?
He did. He wanted to do it again.
That was freaky to me. And again, and I have heard some instances where the man does not allow her to recover because it's
recover from what?
From the sex. He trying to ride her like a pony. And she hasn't had a time to recover. See, it's not that comfortable in the beginning.
Dang.
And if your body doesn't react a certain way, it's painful.
Like a pony.
And you can't just go back to back to back like that. You need a recovery period.
Did you say he oversexing her?
Yes. Okay. That's probably without going into all the details. I could have just said, yes. Now it's painful. So if she get the opportunity to say no, guess what? Stay away from me.
Wow. Those haven't been in my chair.
Those haven't been in your chair.
Those women haven't been in my chair. I might have talked to maybe one. But, yeah. Those women haven't been in my chair. How many of you women out there are getting oversexed?
Well, we probably are out of the oversexed age group. You got to be talking to the younger people that's just getting started.
Oversexed. Okay.
Because the man, also the oversexers, them young bucks that's ready to go. See, I do know somebody who used to hide from their husband when they first got married. She was hiding. Hiding. Not looking forward to him coming through the door. Hiding.
How many years ago was that?
I mean, she was young. She was in her 20s.
How many years ago was that?
30 some years ago.
Oh yeah, they found some balance. Now she not hiding no more.
Just kidding. I don't know if she still had.
She not hiding no more. Don't worry.
But in the beginning, she was hiding because he was
He's
over
done.
sexting
He's
her.
done.
Yes.
He's done now. He's done.
So this particular post that we are referring to, I don't know at what stage they were, or how old they were, but I'm saying he could have turned her off early on with all of that extraness.
So we're saying it's a reason. If a woman denies you for 6 years, it's absolutely a reason. And maybe, I remember when I was in my young adulthood and I was dating this guy, and he was a whore. And he was so beautiful. And he was
He was a beautiful whore.
He was a beautiful whore. He was real pretty. And he was really, his backstroke, it was right. And so I was like, well, if he splits his check with me, then I'll stay. But he used to go to the after party. And then I was like, well, that's not enough. So after he splits his check, I'm going to need him to spend his half on me too.
Oh.
And so then there was a while, that wasn't enough. Then I got to the point where I would be like, when we got ready to kiss me, you can have a hug. But because I couldn't trust him with me and I understood that he was such a whore, that I'd just rather not be bothered. And so you don't know why she would rather not just be bothered.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Have there been pregnancy traumas?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do she have fibroids? Like, there's health things that happen with women as well that can make you not have a sex drive.
Yeah, her testosterone levels. Her testosterone levels. Do you know they'll give women topical testosterone to put on the cream to help excite them. Topical. They'll increase they'll give them some testosterone in order to help them with their sex life, their libido.
Okay. Any other reasons why women don't want to have sex with their husbands?
Tired.
Very tired. Exhausted.
Tired. Just tired. Overwhelmed. Overwhelmed with the cares of life. Overwhelmed with life. And you know what? As a pastor's wife, and this was the pastor's wife.
I mean, the poster was the pastor's wife.
And there's the pastor's wife. You don't know what she's carrying spiritually and what she's had to fight, how many wars she's had to fight spiritually, that she's just exhausted with him, exhausted with the mantle he carries, exhausted with the warfare that comes with it, exhausted with the women in the church, exhausted with the men that support him. No, you know what I'm saying? Support the nonsense. So you don't know how exhausted she is with all of it.
Mm-hmm. And if his church is not set up right and he's doing everything, he ain't even at home.
Mm-hmm.
So the investment is going to the people in the flock and none is focused on her. So no, she don't want to be bothered.
No, she's exhausted. So something happened. I really believe, wholeheartedly, I believe she probably needed therapy and someone to talk to before she got to the place that she could recover, before she got to the place of 6 years in.
Yeah.
Because that means
she doing in a 6 year.
The same
Besides
thing he was
begging
doing,
or looking
right,
crazy.
the same thing he was
mad.
doing that caused her to start the 6 years.
Yeah.
20 years later. Yeah. That song, 20 years later.
What song is that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what happened in the beginning? What happened that it got there? You know,
Yes.
what broke it? So we talk about women withholding. Why would you all withhold sex? What are some of the reasons? We talked about their mental health. We talked about not just their mental health, but the trauma from their past. We talk about even being traumatized in a relationship. We also talked about their physical health. You know, the complications that women experience in their physical health. We also talked about the neglect.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about how being neglectful of the relationship, but still wanting her to fulfill her wifely tasks. You know, we talking about her being exhausted with every area of being married in her existence, even financially. Do you know that sometimes it's the financial pressures and the pressures of day-to-day life that cause women to sometimes tap out?
Especially if you're with a frugal man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Jen trying to, mm-hmm. Amen.
Jen ain't trying to do nothing.
Mm-hmm. So
this ain't my story.
Yeah.
There's just people on Facebook.
Yeah. This is definitely not Jen's story.
But I'm thinking if you are, because we just said being a wife is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with a lot of pressures and responsibilities. To add a pastor's wife on top of that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exhausting.
I can just imagine
Mm-hmm.
her exhaustion and frustration.
Mm-hmm.
And if he was in any way not sensitive to
Mm-hmm.
the emotional struggles, her mental struggles, her physical, like, just because you're a pastor, you still have to be seductive and like something.
Something.
Something. Nobody don't want to be with nobody that's dry. Is he quoting scriptures? Like, what is he doing? Is he like overly like? Cause sometimes people be churchy in the wrong areas.
Well, if he was gonna be churchy in the wrong areas, he probably need to lay hands on her, and be like, "Come for it."
But what a lot of people say it. You know, you have to start. If that's your end goal in the evening, you have to start in the morning because sexual interest for a lot of women starts with the mind.
Yeah.
So how was he even coming at her?
How did he communicate with her? There's so much to that. I think that she has an untold story behind this divorce.
Yes. So we're not pro man or woman. We're just saying we need to hear the backstory first.
Yes. So stay tuned for more conversations with
Jen and Mel.
Part 2 coming up soon.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Conversations with Jen and Mel. Please join us every Monday at 8 p.m. for new episodes on Facebook, YouTube, Rick.tv, and the Rick TV app by way of Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Join us again next time on Conversations with Jen and Mel.